Hey everyone, we are looking at a histology of the spinal cord. We have the spinal cord at different levels on the slide. Right now we're looking at the level of the cervix, so this is the cervical region of the spinal cord. No matter what region we're in, the spinal cord, this cross-section of the spinal cord, it has the same basic features. One, we can see the center. That's the central canal. It's lined by ependymal cells. We see this butterfly shape. I know it appears lighter with the stain. It appears lighter because there are, you know what, it shouldn't appear lighter. I don't know why it appears so light. But this is where we actually find most of the neurons, or all the neurons. All the neuron cell bodies are found in this butterfly shape. It's the gray matter. This is the gray matter of the spinal cord. White matter, where you find axons, that's all on the outside here. So white matter for the spinal cord is on the outside, gray matter is towards the inside. So it's opposite of what we see in the brain. You can see these dark stains in this gray matter. Those are the neurons. Let's zoom in and look more closely. On a previous video we saw in a spinal cord smear. These are those same neurons but not smeared. They're actually within the tissue. So there's 400X. Here's the neuronal cell body. You've got glial cells, the smaller ones surrounding, likely astrocytes or oligodendrocytes. Can't tell from this stain, from this view. But all these larger ones, those are neuronal cell bodies of usually multipolar motor neurons. They could be other types of interneurons, but well, they're motor neurons if they're in the ventral horn. So this is the bottom part of that gray area, going back to 40X. So down here, these would be motor neurons, and then these are other interneurons like sensory interneurons. But they're all multipolar. They're in the gray matter of the spinal cord. Out here, these are axons in cross-section in the white matter. Going to 400X, you can see the very center of these circular things. That is the axon. The white part is where the myelin would be, and then it's surrounded by endoneurium, the connective tissue of axons. Actually, it won't be connected, but covered by that. That's only in the periphery. But anyways, these are axons covered by myelin. Axon covered by myelin, and that's in the white space. Going back out to 40X. What other things can we see? How do we know which way is which? You can see on this side, there's a little groove here, but not much. On the other side, there's a large groove. And you might even find a blood vessel there as well. This is the ventral side. This ventral or anterior side, this is called the anterior median fissure. Yeah. Anterior median fissure. You can see how it goes deep all the way up to right here. If I go to 100X, you can see that a little better. It ends right about here, the anterior median fissure. It goes, you can follow this line all the way up and in. So this is the anterior ventral side. And there you can see a blood vessel that's sitting in that fissure. On the posterior dorsal side, it's just a sulcus. So this is the posterior, dorsal posterior sulcus. It's just a small fold, but we've got a deep fissure here. That's the anterior fissure. The spinal cord has divisions to the white matter and gray matter. For the gray matter, where we find the neuronal cell bodies. Since this is the dorsal side, this is the dorsal gray horn, the dorsal horn. Here's the ventral horn, dorsal horn, ventral horn. There is a lateral horn as well, it's just not very visible here, but this is technically lateral where I'm pointing. That's technically lateral. We can see that the anterior fissure ends here, so there is a crossing over of axons that can happen in this area. That's called the anterior white commissure. From here to here is the anterior white commissure. There is a little gray matter that goes around the central canal, so that technical connection is the gray commissure, though it's kind of a misnomer since commissure should only be used for white tracts. But again, anterior white commissure, we can get a crossing over, a decussation of axons from one side to the other. Up here in the white matter, this is the dorsal or posterior columns. Posterior column, posterior column. We have lateral white columns, and then ventral anterior columns. Another word for column is funiculus. I think column is easier. So anterior white column, lateral white column, dorsal posterior column. Once again, this is a cervical spinal cord. It's pretty big. We go to thoracic. Whoops, wrong way. We go to thoracic. It gets smaller because you don't have arms. The cervical is bigger because you got your head and arms to send axons or deliver axons from. The thoracic level, you don't have as many neurons coming in or out, so it's a bit smaller. Going to lumbar, it gets bigger again because you've got your legs to worry about. And then sacral gets really small because now we're just getting to little parts like the genitalia or our groin area, inguinal area. So those are the basic structures of a spinal cord that you can see with our histology.